咁英國咧就想以呢個禁煙為理由咧，去派兵咧嚟去攻打中國。
The teacher misread history and failed to explain the truth of the Opium War. Sales of opium as a drug were highly restricted in Britain in 19th century, but the British sold it to China to balance their trade deficits. When China destroyed the drug, Britain started the war in 1840. I'm Dr. Qiao. Throughout the 19th century, China was known to be the sick man of Asia. This was related to Chinese consumption of opium. Opium addicts became physically weak and lost their ability to work. Opium was sold in Britain as a drug for recreational purposes. However, people later find out that it can be highly addictive and harmful when consumed regularly. After the Industrial Revolution, Britain was trying to open up new overseas markets for its products. By the start of the 19th century, the trade in Chinese goods such as tea, silks, and porcelain was extremely lucrative for British merchants. Tea was a popular drink among the British, and it only came from China. The problem was that the Chinese didn't buy British products in return. They would only sell their goods in exchange for silver. As a result, large amounts of silver were leaving Britain. In order to stop this, the East India Company, which was a state-run business, and other British merchants began to smuggle Indian opium into China illegally, for which they demanded payment in silver. The British branded opium as medicine for people's pain, insomnia, and other health problems. Many Chinese became quickly addicted to opium and paid all their fortune for it. Widespread opium addiction in China caused a serious social and economic disruption. Each year, China paid 6 million taels of silver for opium. More than 12 million Chinese became addicted. By 1839, opium sales to China paid for Britain's entire tea trade. In spring 1839, the Qing Chinese government confiscated and destroyed more than 20,000 chests of opium, some 1,400 tons of the drug, and banished the British opium merchants from the mainland. But when the news reached Britain, British politicians made the opium ban look like an insult to Britain's dignity and pride. The opium trade was considered a free trade by Britain, and the Chinese government's ban violated international trading principles. The British government decided in early 1840 to send an expeditionary force to China, which arrived at Hong Kong in June. The British attacked and occupied Guangzhou in May 1841. With a series of decisive defeats, mostly because of the backward weaponry China was using, the Qing government sued for peace. The war ended on August 17, 1842, with the Treaty of Nanking signed between China and Britain, enabling the British to carry on their mercantile transactions with whatever persons they please. Hong Kong was ceded to Britain, and the treaty ports of Guangzhou, Amoy, Fuzhou, Shanghai, and Ningbo were open to all traders. Opium trade was permitted in China. China also paid reparations over the opium destroyed earlier. China's defeat during the war brought humiliation to the Qing dynasty's prestige. The Opium War marked the beginning of modern Chinese history. China was divided from then on. Later on, China was invaded by other Western countries and kept going down. The Qing dynasty was overthrown by the revolution of 1911. No Chinese should ever forget that the Opium War was a turning point of the imperial rule, but a simmering hope for a new nation's journey to become integrated, united, and modernized.